GameSmart app, the free educational games platform and learning gamification app. With children getting addicted to online content, what site is safe for a parent to allow access to? Kids love video games, but which ones are mentally stimulating in a healthy way and which ones are only violent and degrading? Some kids struggle with traditional learning but excel at various forms of gaming. So why not combine positive, inclusive gaming experiences with education? And parents want online platforms that they can trust. Welcome GameSmart. Here you can see a high fidelity prototype screenshot of the app. To replace the reward system of addictive games like Fortnite, GameSmart will reward gamers with points as they complete lessons or levels. The points are redeemable for desirable and valuable prizes and services in the store. Replacing addictive reward center stimuli with actual rewards is the GameSmart store concept. And here's another high fidelity prototype screenshot of the store concept. And the point of the store concept is to empower students. GameSmart Store, the whole point is to empower students, not just to provide a way to get more stuff, but to reward students because the more they learn, the more they earn, and what they do earn are points to go toward high quality, desirable merchandise, often that has a positive entertainment or even an educational connotation. I wanted to talk about how I managed to get the store, the shop to work. So you can see the emulated shop over here on the right side. It's got a card layout and it is a recycler view layout, and all these cards become populated. Um, if I click on one of these cards, it goes to the product detail screen. You can see if it's available, and you can look and see how much this product cost. That right now it's just got placeholder images. If you liked it, you could add it to your cart, and then you can also do a search. Here, this fab button, I think that's called. If I click on it, it's going to take your focus over to the search bar, and then you can do a search. I'll do a search for new, and then here's a couple of product titles that have new in it. So search does work, and it doesn't matter if it is uppercase or lowercase, it's not case sensitive. And that's also how I initially populate this recycler view, is I just have a click right down here where it says button search perform click. That makes all of this populate because it's just an empty search term. Okay, and so how that works is here's my model where I put the types and I say that it's okay if they're null. Here's my app database. It's a room database, and then I have a data access object. That's what DAO is. That was what allows me to manipulate my table, my database, and my tables. Here's that database access object or data access object. And here I've provisioned certain tasks, the CRUD tasks like insert, delete, query, and then as far as querying, here is the search query that I use to populate my recycler view. Here's the entity, and that is another way of saying table. So you can see the table, it's got an auto-generating primary key, integer type, and then it's got the title, it's got the URL for photo, and it has a product description string. It's got a price in dollars, which is a double, and then it's got a price in points column, which is an integer. And those are all what come over and fill in these cards over here in the emulator. Here's my main shop fragment. Not my main cart activity, but my main shop fragment. And this is also how I initialize my database and populate the first product entry in there. So I just uncomment this and then I'll run it, and then it automatically, as it builds, it's also going to take actually, this was when I was using JSON to fill in my stuff. So disregard what I just said. But here's also where I map it, through my model. You have to do this on different threads, so that's why there's this do async method up here. And then this has to do with the search button functionality. I've already pointed out where at the bottom I just initialize the filling of all the cards with a empty search. Perform button click. Okay, here's a layout. This is what the recycler view looks like. This is my shop fragment layout, and you can see I've got the search button and bar up top, and then there's also a little spinner here that you'll see as I initially launch. I'll show that right now. You can see it just for a split second. There it is. You can see that while it's filling in all the cards. Here's my products adapter. That's a class that fills in my recycler view. Here it is right up here, just recycler view, and we're doing some binding. Also, we're doing some, I'm converting, I think, strings into this string that's going to have PTS at the end of it, so you can see the little points on there. On this price dollar item, I added a $sign to the front, and I also rounded it to an integer. Otherwise, it would be like 65.0, and that doesn't look right. So I just got rid of the decimal places. Also, I needed to use this Picasso utility to display my images. Then if you look down here, I am inflating the product row layout. And what that looks like is this. Here you can see the card that I created that fills in this recycler view. So that's product row. And then back to my products adapter, you can also see how it fills in the product details. So if you look over here in the emulator, if I click on one of these cards, it goes into this other page here. It's supposed to be a product detail screen. You know, I could always add in more details and more information here in the future, and then you're supposed to be able to get a better view of the image, and that's where you could add it to your cart. How that's done is here's product details, this class, and it's this intent put extra, where it takes the information that's on the cards in the recycler view and pushes it into the product details view. And so if I click on that class, it's going to take me to the class. And you can see I've also done the same thing here by um, cleaning up the way the points and the dollar symbol looks with no decimal place. Oh, and there's a little message right here. So see if it's available. I get a little, I think it's a toast message. It says build a NES kit is in stock. And I can hit OK, or I can click away and it'll go away. So there is the product details class. And here's the product details layout. You can get an idea of how this looks here. It looks like this must collapse until it gets filled in or inflated with the dollars and the points over here. Otherwise, it seems everything is already kind of inflated. There's that layout and product adapter. And then one other thing when it comes to this shop that um, I had worked on is the way to add new product data to the database. So if we go into this drawer and I click on Shop Admin, here I have 4 different pieces of product data that I can add. I hadn't put in one yet for the placeholder image, so that's why that's missing. But we could type in new product, new description. It's going to cost $100 and it's going to be 10,000 points to get that. I'll hit submit. That will add a new entry to the database, and we can see that if we look at the database inspector. Um, Here's this table, the product data table. You can see the auto incrementing ID, primary key, and then the other pieces of data. And I have a class that already is going to push the image in as a placeholder. So that's why I don't have to do it here. And if we want to, we can go look at, let's see, how do I get that to show up? I'll go to the home page and then, oh, that's how you do it. Okay, so now we can see our table down here, and there are 25 items, and the latest one, number 25, was the one we just put in, which is new product. And there's the placeholder that the class I have set up to automatically put it in if we don't put something else in there. And then here's a new description, $100, 10,000 points. And then we can go and look at this recycler view. If we go to the bottom, here's our new product. It's a $100 and our new description. And that's how we add new product data into the product database. Okay, really quick, I wanted to walk through how I got the navigation views and menus to work on my main app area. So let's open this up. Right now, the way I have this configured, it defaults to open up to the store. But let's jump into this the store's drawer navigation, and we'll click on Home. Here's the kind of the main area. And this is supposed to be the home page, and you can see it has a different drawer navigation. Some of the same area. It has the shop area here, and it has the home area. But otherwise, these other 3 are different than what you would have seen in the cart drawer. So And then they also tie in with the bottom navigation. There's a bottom navigation here. So that was part of the design. And if you click on games, you go to this page that's a games fragment, or what should be the games homepage. And you'll notice that if I open the drawer, it's also highlighted in the drawer. Games is. So same with if I go to account, and then account's going to be highlighted in the drawer. Material design, and I guess because material design doesn't like it, neither does Google or Android, or at least they told that line. I do not understand why, but material does not like having a drawer and bottom navigation together. Even in tutorials that they have set up, you'll find that it's very difficult to learn how to do this. So I had to learn this scouring the web to try to figure out how to have both of these because I wanted both of them together, and material does not approve of that. So, and I still don't know why they say that you shouldn't do it, but they don't say why you shouldn't do it. So I think maybe it's because your drawer can overlap the bottom navigation, but I still don't really see why that's a problem. Okay, so here's the home page, and so how I got this to work, I have my main activity fragment, and when that loads, you're going to see it's going to load the activity main layout, which is, let's see, activity main. It looks like this. It's got the drawer in there, and it's got the bottom nav, and then it's also going to have the content behind it. It pulls that in. So that's activity main layout. And then also in the main activity, it'll just kind of go down the list. It'll start doing things like loading the action bar, the toolbar. It'll load up the drawer layout, nav view, the navigation view. I believe that's the fragment that loads other fragments into it. It's also going to load in the nav, the different nav stuff, and that's a pretty slick way of doing things, I think. I'm new to Android dev, and it took me a while to kind of catch on to the way everything's done. So much of the layout stuff is done in XML, and also so is a lot of the navigation things. So I'm still not really 100% on that, but kind of learning as I go. And when I get it to work, I think it's pretty slick. And when I don't get it to work, I think it's very frustrating. So, and then they have this, here's kind of a graphical way of setting up your navigation. But when I mess with this, and I don't know why it's not connecting the lines, this should be hooked up because it's working, obviously. I don't know why it doesn't have lines going to different pages. If we look at the code, this is the main navigation graph that I set up. Here are the fragments, and you can see we have nav games, we have nav home, we have nav cat home, that's cat as category. That's the shop home page, nav info, and those will correspond to these items in the drawer. Home view model, there's a view model and fragment, and you can see that that's for the home page that loads up inside of the main activity. And you can see I've set this up so that the button on this card, uh, it loads a certain text, and that comes from the home view model. So right here it says text, and then if we click on the home view model, the text value is for the button on that card, and it says Go Shop. So it actually changes it to Go Shop. So, and then if I click on Go Shop, it goes to the shop. Here's that card again, and another thing that's on here. There's a button click listener, and that is what fires the navigation command to go to the navcat home, which is the shop homepage. Okay, and then here is the fragment for home That's where that card is constructed at, using material card layout, among other layout tools. And that's settings main. That's for the little settings menu that comes out of the top up here in the emulator. Okay, back to the nav graph. I'll close that. Content main. The way this kind of works is we have our main layout, which has like the drawer, and then inside of there, you're going to have things like content that's going to be behind the drawer, and you're going to pull in other fragments into that, fragments or pages, however you want to say that. Here's the app bar page. You can see what I was just talking about in action. Like here's app bar layout. Gets pulled into there. Also, here's that content main. That's kind of what the page that is behind the drawer. Um, it pulls in things like this, the home page, the home fragment, which the home fragment, as we saw, had this card on it, the card with the button on it. I also have a fab button in here that I don't use. I could just as well delete it. It doesn't show up, so I'm not sure why that's there. And again, on the main fragment, I just thought it was pretty slick once I got it working, how the drawer and the bottom navigation tie together. And that is largely done as a byproduct of both setting up the navigation graph, that's for cart, but navigation graph, and the navigation menu, which is here, the bottom menu, and then in the main activity, it's largely about how we configure this app bar. Real quick, I wanted to compare and contrast the design and the developed app on the basis of the store, the GameSmart store. So on the left, you can see that that's the Figma prototype, and on the right, you can see there's an emulated Pixel 3a. And if I'm going to start the Game Store app, okay, and you can see on the right there is a material card layout and a recycler view. So these are cards, card layout, kind of like over here on the left in the uh, prototype. And this is a Figma prototype, high fidelity prototype that I made. And if I click, you can kind of see the different, let's call them hyperlink areas or different touch areas that you could navigate from. Here's like a hamburger view, hamburger menu, drawer, and I had mine on the right side. Material design does not like that. They want you to put it on the left side unless you have a right to left language on your app. So um, I just went with that on my app. There is a difference, I guess. And then uh, if you want to look at behind the scenes in Figma, here's the prototype that I made. And if we look over here, you can kind of see the some of the navigation lines that come out. If you click on different pages inside of here, how it's all wired up, you can see kind of how the bottom uh, menus work, and then there's the drawer over here and how that works. But this has its own emulator to show. And what happens if we click on one of these cards? So I'll click on this NES card here, And you can see it goes to another card layout. And now if I go over to the app on the right, and if I click on one of these cards, it also goes to a card layout. Again, this is the detail view, and I try to stay pretty true to the design. I haven't had time to get too much fleshed out, but I feel like at the bare bones level, it's somewhat true to the design from Figma, from the Figma side over there. I have the price with the dollar sign and no decimals. I have the points with PTS suffix on there. Um, you could add to cart. There's an add to cart button. I wanted to make sure that the view of the image could be larger in the detail view so you can see more detail, of course, and then there would be more room in the card to add other features in the future to make it more like on the left side, the Figma prototype, where it has things like star rating, and it has breadcrumbs at the top, and it has what would probably be an algorithmically suggested other products that are similar to this product or that other customers liked who saw this product. And then there would be other images to click on. So that's been a compare and contrast of the shop experience. I want to talk a little bit about the comparison of design versus development when it comes to the main drawer and bottom nav areas in the app. So when it comes to this app, it took me a while to figure out the whole scheme on how the drawer and the bottom nav areas work together. Here you can see this is the cart nav drawer, and it's going to be different than the main nav drawer. So I clicked on home and go to the main nav area, and you can see at the bottom there is a menu at the bottom, and that is in line with the design as I had made it. On the left-hand side, the Figma design, it's got a bottom nav. Here I'm clicking so that you can see where the different areas you are that you can touch for navigation. Here is the hamburger menu slide out drawer. It's on the right side here, material design, and then Android and Google don't seem to like having a navigation drawer with a bottom menu. Not sure why, but I did have to scour the internet to figure out how to do this. But you can see it's pretty slick in the way that if I click on account, then you'll see that not only is it highlighted at the bottom, here it's info now. Info is highlighted at the bottom. Info will also be highlighted on the slide out nav drawer. So it's like they're aware of each other and where they have navigated to currently. So I like that feature. All in all, there's still elements I need to put in here, but I do feel like as far as the design goes, and then realization of that in the development, um, they are pretty on par so far. I wanted to get into some difficulty I had because I'm new to Android development and I did not understand much about navigation in Android, and I also did not understand that Android has been wanting most developers to go to a single activity app for some time now. I kind of started to understand that after I had been developing this. I started out with a template, so it gave me this main activity. But then through the course of developing this, I also thought it would be a good idea to start a cart activity, and it wasn't a good idea because it's made navigating um, to the app much more difficult. And so I wanted to demonstrate that by showing how when I emulate the app, because of how I have the manifest set up, I do not have the cart activity as a child of the main activity. I've tried that, and I might go back to that to get it to work better. But for now, I do not have it that way. And I do have this still described as a main and has its own launcher. So if you run this app, you'll see that you get two icons when you install the app. So that's going to have to change, but for now, that's the way it is. And when I run it, I think because the cart activity is listed on top in the manifest, it kicks into the uh, cart by default. And that's okay because that's the only way I can get my navigation in my cart. So here is my cart nav graph. Well, I guess that's not really something I should be looking at right now because it's not really fleshed out. But here's my cart activity, and you can see how it kicks off. It uses a layout of activity cart. It installs the toolbar, and then we go down into the support fragment manager so that we have one of these host fragments, and then the navigation hooks into that uh, through here. And this is when you click on these various things in the drawer, these various navigation points in the drawer, um, they're going to fill in that navigation fragment. Here is just these were supposed to be categories. I haven't done much with those yet, but and then I've shown this part, the admin, and so this is the only way right now to get into the admin panel is to go through the drawer that is connected to the cart, and then here is shop home. So, and that's again right here, nav cat. Cat is supposed to be category. That's how I differentiated my lists of drawer nav items. And then I finally figured out because of how I set this up, I could do this where I could load into the main activity. So if I go in here and I just want to make sure, once again, we notice that this is a different nav header, nav bar up here. It's got this little cart icon, which would take you to the cart where you could check out. And it's the only place that has the shop home and the shop admin. And then it does not have a bottom nav. It's got this button I hooked up so that if you click on it, it takes you, it makes the focus into this edit bar and then makes the keyboard appear, or you can toggle it back off. But anyway, that's the way this place looks. This is the cart activity, and if you click on the drawer, and then if you click on this home, which is again right here, um, it's going to take you from the cart activity to the main activity, and it's going to load all the stuff in the main activity, all the things like loading into the layout of activity main, and loading up its drawer and loading up its bottom nav. So I'm going to click on that, and I can't figure out how to do that same thing. But to go back here, I suppose I could completely rip out all this navigation stuff and make it just like the cart activity. I didn't want to do that though because I think this is a pretty slick way of doing it. I think it's the new modern way that Android wants to do it, and it ties into the bottom nav very well. Here's the bottom nav, and then here's the different drawer. Notice how we do not have the shop home, and we even have different icons and things like that. Over here, instead of the cart, there's a settings menu, and then this nav ties nicely together with the the drawer nav and the bottom nav tie nicely together. You can see if I click on games, and then if I open the drawer, there's also games right here. Again, Android and Material don't even like doing this. It was hard to figure this out, how to have both a drawer and a bottom nav at the same time, but I did finally figure it out. And so anyway, they work together. You can see if I click on bottom nav item, and then I open the drawer, it's also selected in there. So it's like they're aware of each other. And so that's how well it works together. It's very nice. But now that I'm over here in the main fragment, if I click on the shop, And apparently, since I don't understand how navigation works very well yet in Android, um, you'll notice that yes, I have gone over to this fragment where I've loaded up pretty much everything that looks like the shop homepage, but it has the main fragments header with its settings menu. I don't have my little card up here. And if I open the drawer, I do not have my shop admin screen where I can go add products to the database. I don't have my shop homepage here. Well, I guess I have this here, but it's the same problem. And then I still have this bottom nav, which I do not want in my shop. If I have that, um, when I get to the bottom, this 55 dp, which is the height of this bottom nav, it cuts off my stuff down here. It also, I think it's hiding my little um, button down here that would allow you to toggle in the search. So um, this is a video that's pointing out the challenges that I've had, some of the challenges I've had with learning uh, Android navigation development and the new ways that Android wants developers to work with their platform, including they definitely want developers to use only one activity if possible. And they also do not like certain things which I find arbitrary and I don't understand the reasoning behind it, such as they don't want you to have a drawer and a bottom nav at the same time, which I don't understand because they seem to work very well together now that I have them working. So that's it for navigation and activities and style challenges. I wanted to touch briefly on the importance of having an authentication process for this app. This app is geared towards students and young people, so it is important for them to have security. I would like to so that they could have their own accounts and they can come in and have an identity in there. And if they want to come back in later and delete that personal information, that's fine. Either way, it's important to keep that secure. I want to build that out in the future, probably using OAuth 2. Just not there yet, so more to come.